Despite it finally being a brand new year, we still have more questions and answers for 2024, especially in Congress. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time that we talk about the chaos that is unfolding in the new year. That is right, everyone. We're finally in 2024. Happy New Year's to everyone. I'm certainly having a great one myself. And today we're going to be talking about 2024 and not the electoral stuff, because while that's important, there are some big stuff coming up in Congress that, in my opinion, they're much more important than November, as for now, because they're within the next month or two. That these issues are going to be resolved before the election, and they need to be focused on heavily, because this is not just some small crap that's not going to do anything. Some of this is big deals that the Republican Party have to get ahead of the curve on. But before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. Now, let me be clear. There could be other issues that pop up that we have no clue about, but really, there's like 5 big issues facing Congress, especially early in the year, that are going to be brought up. They're going to be resolved before the election. So let's just get into it. From confrontations over government funding and foreign aid to Republican threats to impeach Biden despite the quote-unquote lack of an impeachable offense. Yeah, sure. Sure, there's some lack of evidence. But either way, that's NBC being NBC. A divided Congress is entering the new year, facing a slew of big fights. It will do so against the backdrop of an election year, with the White House and Congress up for grabs in November. And that's why I'm saying this stuff is going to get resolved. This stuff will be resolved before the election. It has to be. We have an election in November. People want to get it done before they have to campaign heavily in, say, October, September, November, all that. One question mark hanging over these fights is the still nascent speakership of Mike Johnson, who's trying to navigate a wafer-thin majority and familiar pressures from conservative hardliners who overthrew his predecessor. I will say this, only Marjorie Taylor Greene's being a clown when it comes to this. Matt Gaetz is saying, just give it time. We gotta wait and see what Johnson does, and so is everybody else. Taylor Greene, I don't know what's up with her, but she has completely lost it, and I think the rumors with McCarthy were true. I'm not gonna say it here, but either way, go look them up. They're kind of pathetic, but whatever. So the first big issue, of course, is related to immigration. A high-stakes clash over immigration policy caused Congress to punt Biden's national security package into next year, with Senate Republicans demanding tougher immigration laws as a price of winning their votes for additional U.S. aid to Ukraine and Israel. Thanks to Mike Johnson, by the way. Mike Johnson is who did this, by the way. Don't give credit to the Senate Republicans. Yes, I'm glad that they did something, but look it up. What the Senate Republicans were doing before Johnson. They were going to agree to it no matter what. McCarthy was backing a deal that would have given more Ukraine aid without any kind of attachments to it. Mike Johnson was the one that said, we need border security. We need checks on the Ukraine aid. And he said, we're not going to agree anymore unless we get some attachments to it. Well, suddenly the Senate Republicans are like, damn, we actually have to do something about the border. Senators insist they're making progress, and Democrats have offered serious concessions on raising the standards for asylum seekers and expanding the president's power to quickly remove migrants who cross the border. But thorny issues remain in a debate that has bedeviled Congress for decades. And Ukraine will struggle to hold off Russia without U.S. help, which I'm not going to get into that. Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut, the party's top negotiator, has said the fate of the world is at stakes in the talks. The fate of the world. He issued a Christmas Day plea to Republicans not to let Putin conquer Ukraine. Hold up. The fate of the world? Between a war of Russia versus Ukraine that has not expanded yet? It probably won't expand. I mean, do people understand how stupid that sounds? The fate of the world. I think what's about to happen potentially in Taiwan is more the fate of the world at stake. Now what's happening in Ukraine. Plus, if you don't want Ukraine to get conquered, why are you against any type of peace deal? Any kind of talks? Again, I'm not a fan of either side. I'm not. I'm just saying, I want the killing to stop. I'm taking Trump's position on this. Just stop the killing. So, if you don't want Russia to take over Ukraine, why are you against any type of deal to end the war? Even the Democratic-led Senate reached a deal. Well, that's not necessarily true, because Johnson is saying he just wants some basic attachments to it, and even if a couple Republicans bail on Johnson, I guarantee you a lot of Democrats would agree to it. If the Senate passes a deal, I guarantee you enough Democrats in the House would vote for it. The second thing, of course, is the government shutdown. Having passed a couple of short-term bills to keep the lights on, Congress now faces a two-part deadline on January 19th and February 2nd to prevent a government shutdown, which was a smart move by Johnson. Because this is what happens every single year. All right, usually there's some crap that happens right before Christmas. The Senate forces through some hideous package, and the House is forced to agree to it. Now he's like, you know what? We're having two deadlines. Some stuff on January 19th and some stuff on February 2nd, which the House Freedom Caucus proposed 10 years ago, but suddenly they're against it now. Why? I don't know why, but either way. This time, Johnson's indicated he doesn't support another stopgap bill, and he said that if Congress fails to reach a deal, he will support a full year continuing resolution. So he's saying, we're not doing 2 to 3 months each time. We either get a full-term deal or we get a 1-year deal. Which I'm glad that we're getting in. Continuing resolutions I have some problems with. But if we actually use it to our advantage, instead of letting Dems use it, it could be a net positive. That has been met with heavy pushback from Democrats, as well as Senate Republicans. In part because it would impose significant cuts to domestic and military funding, compared to levels Congress and Biden agreed to in mid-2023. Meeting the needs of prior years, not this one. We spend way too much. And Senate Republicans, they're supposedly the party of stopping government spending. But they're mad that Republicans want to cut spending because it's the military. It's like, yeah, we shouldn't, completely gut the military, but there's a lot of money that, let's face it, it's disappearing into the void. We have no clue where it's going. Now, of course, you got the impeachment stuff, which, ooh boy, this is going to be a tough subject. I will say this. I think Biden did commit an impeachable offense, in my opinion. From everything I've read so far, and again, we launched an impeachment inquiry, at least Republicans did. That's not an impeachment, that's just, hey, they give us expanded powers to look into what Biden did, potentially did. But everything I've seen so far, I think he committed an impeachable offense. With that being said, do heavy investigations, show the American people what really happened here, but don't impeach. Listen, I understand that people want to impeach, but unless the evidence is so damning that even Democrats have to admit that, hey, this is not, he said, she said, he said that. This is direct evidence of Biden having corruption. I would not come 50 feet within this. I just wouldn't. I would not touch this with a 50 feet pole. So, the impeachment stuff, to be determined. Now, of course, you have surveillance powers, which this was a big stink a couple weeks ago, and I still think Republicans got shafted because Congress temporarily extended warrantless surveillance under Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act until next April. But there's still a core dispute to resolve of the government's spying powers between security hawks and civil libertarians that has scrambled the partisan divide. And that's good, that there are some on both sides saying, no, you can't have warrantless surveillance. You can't have the Patriot Act continue forever. There's no reason for it. You should have to get a warrant if you want to spy on somebody, essentially. You should have to get a warrant. Not what they're doing now where, oh, we don't need a warrant. We can just spy on whoever we want. That's not good. That's unconstitutional in the first place. And there's Republicans saying this is stupid. We need change. And a lot of Democrats are saying this is stupid. We need change. We should got changed last, like 2 weeks ago or whatever, but we didn't. It was a big L for Republicans. Don't know what Mike Johnson did there. That is the one big L he's taken so far, but we got till April to figure out what to do. Hopefully we get rid of this warrantless surveillance state that we're creating. It should be you get a warrant and then you could have surveillance. And the final thing is the FAA and Farm Bill, which really, this is not going to change much. I doubt that we're going to see that big of a change when it comes to this stuff. Again, this includes stuff like agriculture subsidies, nutrition programs like SNAP, and overall, this is an issue that it's not the most important, that we're probably not going to see much change. You might see like some minor changes here and there, but I doubt that you're going to see like the end of food stamps. Either way, folks, these are kind of the 5 issues that I kind of touched upon. You know, surveillance powers, I think, is a big one. I think this is probably the second most important. Immigration, by far, though, you have to resolve it before you even consider more funding to Ukraine. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.